Supreme Court refused to apply the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act to a professor, Dr. Chotha from Texas Prairie View A&M. They refused to do the right thing by her, and they sentenced her to forever be paid less than her male counterparts at Texas A&M. And we need to not stand for that, ladies. The majority poor in the world are women and children, and that will remain so until every woman has the power to decide whether or not she has sex, whether or not she uses contraception and has access to it, and whether or not she carries a pregnancy to term.
Because this is too important. There's too much at risk for all of us. All of us.
You know, what's happening here in Texas is not unlike what's happening in a lot of states. There are those in these hollowed halls of our state legislators who think that they have the right to tell us what we can do with our bodies, to tell us how much we should be paid, to tell us that when we pay for our own insurance, that we're not allowed to have copay or coverage for our birth control. Well, we're here to tell them, hell no, we're not going to let you do it to us anymore.
Life does not begin at conception. Life begins with the dignity of the mother. Until we have dignity, we cannot have children who have dignity. If your mama is in a nursing home and she gets raped there, well, guess what? She has to bring her lawsuit, instead of under inadequate security, she has to bring it under the Medical Malpractice Act, and her liability is capped.
Men could get vasectomies as a disability in 1976 and before, but women, very few corporations allowed women to take a disability, a paid sick leave, when they were pregnant. We changed that in 1977. I thought that was pretty sacred, but the other day when I was traveling through East Texas on a talk show, I heard someone say, and that shouldn't be either. Why do women get a disability when they're pregnant? They get pregnant on purpose. We cannot go back to 1976 and before.
And I'm not new to this debate. I've been standing in these tracks for 30 years, okay? We are absolutely united on this front.
Religious extremists and political extremists are everywhere. And for whatever reason, their main targets are women. Whether it is the GOP platform that wants to eliminate women's rights to reproductive health, to choice, to equal pay, or it's the Taliban in another country that's gunning down young girls who want to go to school. The extremists exist everywhere. And if we do not stand up for those who cannot speak, and you do not go out and vote, guess what? They're going to win. And are we going to let that happen?
So I'm going to do this quickly. Rick Perry has cut $138 million in women's health care. Rick Perry has caused the closure of more than 60 low-income clinics for women. Waiting lists are long for vital care and contraception now. 35 clinics have lost the funding that exempted them from parental permission for teen contraception. State support to graduate residents to get them to stay in the state has been cut by 40%. 10% to hospitals has been cut, 23% to trauma care, $805 million in Medicare from doctors, $4 billion in Medicare payments has been borrowed to balance the state budget. Now let's get to the refusal of Obamacare. That's going to cost us $16 billion over 10 years. If accepted, it would bring $164 billion to this state in 10 years. That money, because it's refused, is going to go to other states. And that leaves us as 50th in all the states in the health care. We've got 5 million people uninsured. 1/2 of all our babies born are born under Medicare. And to make things worse, to really strip the dignity of women, If you make more than $188 a month in Texas, you don't qualify for Medicare. You ready for this? I thought I couldn't count this high. $168,943,000,000. Folks, Rick Perry is too expensive.
It's so worthwhile that in this great country that we stand up together. We stand up together and march together for all of us.
2012, another year of the woman. I'd like that, wouldn't you?
I want to remind you that it was less than 100 years ago that women fought valiantly for our right to vote and our right to hold office. Even after we had the right to vote, there was questions about whether or not we had the right to hold public office.
We need women to stand up in government. Right now, the U.S. ranks low in a number of women in government. In a list of 190 countries, we're number 80. Along with Morocco and Venezuela, the United States, only 17% of elected offices held are by women. Ahead of us are Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Poland, Cuba, Mexico, and Spain.
We need more women in public office. But what's holding women back? What I found in the last 6 months is that they're busy rearing children. They're busy taking care of elderly parents. And they're busy working twice as hard for 56 cents on the dollar as what men make for doing the same work. That is why we have to run for office. We have to.
This is going to be about our health care, our equality, and our family planning choices that are on the line. Women, it's time to take charge and make a change.
We're gonna keep on hoping, gonna keep our eyes open, and change will come, but it won't be easy. All again. Elizabeth Cady Stanton never saw a woman's right to vote become the law. But women everywhere now know the awesome vote she carried. And Stonewall didn't settle any fights. There's been a lot of stonewalling since that night. But one more state just